The young maid stripped off her master's filthy clothes. She forced him into a clean white shirt. But when she turned again, she found herself staring down the barrel of a black gun. Yet instead of fear, she laughed like a madwoman and begged her master to kill her. She was the 10th maid assigned to care for the count. The girl hated seeing her own reflection. Her mother had given birth to her in a horse stable. Born in the slums, she never had the blessing of kind parents or a gentle life. A hideous birthmark stained her face. Her mother named her Bora, meaning a life covered in dust. And indeed, her life was as small as dust. Her father a violent drunk. Her mother fleeing in despair, leaving behind 5 helpless children. The neighbors whispered, wondering how long they could keep on living. The first to die was the newborn baby. Then came the second sister, sold off to strangers. The last time Bora saw her was when she came running back, begging for help. Her body was covered in wounds, not a single place left unscarred. Their father dragged her away again soon after. Not long later, word came that the girl had died from an infection. Her body was tossed onto the street, alone and forgotten. Everyone said she hadn't died of illness, she'd been beaten to death. Soon after, the 4th sister died in Bora's arms. Bora buried her alone. The tiny mound of dirt had no marker, no name. From afar she could hear the villagers gossiping. That ugly face of yours is the only reason you're still alive. If you'd been prettier, you'd be dead just like your sisters. Maybe that could be called a blessing. A blessing, she laughed bitterly. She'd never even had a full meal in her life. 3 of her blood relatives had already died in misery. All that remained was her devil of a father, and her 3rd sister who despised her and mocked her every day. If there was such a thing as hell, this was it. Then one day a nobleman appeared. I want to hire your daughter. And just like that, Bora was sold like an object. Her father, drunk on his newfound fortune, couldn't stop laughing. The only daughter he ever doted on, Alyssa, smirked as she waved goodbye. Goodbye, sister. Don't come back. Before leaving, Bora said calmly, Alyssa, take good care of that pretty face of yours. It's the only thing you've got. With that, she turned away without hesitation, not waiting for a reply. To Bora, this might just be another road to hell, one even more dangerous than before. Yet she felt happy. For the first time, she had escaped her narrow little hell. Soon she arrived at her new workplace. It was the grand estate of the noble Bellunita family. Her duty was to care for the mansion's master, Vincent Bellunita. She was warned to keep silent about everything she saw or heard here. Breaking that rule meant severe punishment. When the door finally opened, she felt as if she had seen a spirit from the forest, his body bathed in golden sunlight as if glowing. A teacup suddenly crashed to the floor, shattering right by her feet. The head maid bowed respectfully. The man pulled the sheets tighter around himself and shouted, Get out. Master, it's time for your meal. I prepared something easy to eat. For your health, please try a little. I said, Get out. Another vase flew past. Bora barely had time to understand what was happening. Before the head maid calmly said, I've brought a new girl to serve you. If you need anything, tell her. The man kept shouting, Leave. The head maid didn't even flinch. Then I'll bring your dinner later. The next second, Bora saw the man pull out a knife. She couldn't afford to lose her new job. So she rushed toward him, shouting, Be careful. You'll hurt yourself. But she didn't notice the bedsheets tangled beneath her feet. When she opened her eyes again, she realized she was on top of him. Sweat ran down his cheek in trembling streaks. His face was indescribable. Bora had never seen anyone so beautiful. Yet something was wrong. His whole body shook as if gripped by fear. Suddenly, his large hand lunged toward her. Just before it reached her eyes, Bora shoved him away with all her strength. The head maid rushed forward and caught the man. He was gasping, struggling to breathe. In that instant, Bora realized something. The man couldn't see. He began to roar, grabbing whatever he could reach and hurling it across the room. Vincent Bellunita, the only son of the illustrious Bellunita Count and Countess. From childhood, his beauty and intelligence made him the pride of the nobles. When his parents died in an accident, people worried about how such a young man could manage the vast estate. Yet he proved them all wrong, leading the Bellunita family to even greater heights. But his happiness ended abruptly, the day tragedy struck. At a royal banquet, he accidentally came into contact with a poison meant for an assassination target. At first, it was only a sting in his eyes. Then his vision blurred, until everything went dark. Darkness consumed his world, he was blind. Soon after, he stopped leaving his room entirely. Rumors spread that he was recovering from an injury. In truth, only a handful of people knew what had really happened. To protect that secret, Bora was assigned to serve him alone. He would shout in rage, throwing anything within reach. Every time he heard her, he barked, "Get out." When she placed food on the floor, he yelled again, "Take it away. I don't need it." No matter how cruel or angry he became, she continued her duty as a maid. His condition was miserable, his clothes filthy, untouched for who knows how long. In her calm, mechanical tone, Bora said, "Your sheets and clothes need to be changed. It'd be better if you took a bath too." The man screamed hysterically, ordering her to get out. Bora answered softly, "It seems you're not pleased with me." "Not pleased at all. Get out now," he barked. Bora bowed and asked, "What is it you dislike? Tell me and I will change." She set the tray down and said gently, "From head to toe, if I'm displeasing you, I will do my best to make you satisfied." He replied coldly, "No need, just disappear from my sight." Bora truly wanted to punch him. She calculated the thought in her mind. He always tossed dangerous things around. She wondered if she could feign an accident, hit him once, just once, to vent. But the blind man was oddly alert. He hissed, "What are you thinking? Don't come near me or I'll kill you." Bora smiled and said, "Nothing, Master. Don't worry. I only wanted to change your sheets. Please step aside." Before her words finished, something flew at her. This time it struck her squarely in the head. Bora's vision began to blur. Her father, like a demon, flashed before her eyes. At her feet lay a broken pocket watch. This time she was truly angry. Bora picked up the pocket watch from the floor. The glass face was shattered, yet the hands kept ticking stubbornly, much like her own broken life. Useless thing, what an ugly freak. That face, what a disgrace, always making a scene. Can't you cover your face before you go out? You're embarrassing us all. Her bruised eye swelled up. Bora's anger cooled into a quiet calm. She thought, if they dislike me, fine. Why throw dangerous objects? What, are you afraid to die? No one would care if you dropped dead here. People like you do anything for money, filth blinded by gold. You only came for the money. Who would accept a stranger's offer otherwise? The insults grew crueler, but they rang with ugly truth. Do you know why this house hired you? Because you're talented, trustworthy? No, because it wouldn't matter if you died. Blaming others is easy. It soothes the blamer's own wounds. People trample others to prop up their own pride. Bora understood human nature, so these words no longer cut her the way they once did. But mood was another matter. "You're awful, Master," Bora said softly. "For someone so important, how could you let yourself live in such filth? No matter how lost you are, you're still a noble Lord Vincent." His face flushed red. "Watch your tongue," he warned. Yet her next words silenced him completely. "You're right, I am obsessed with worldly desires. Just like you said, I'm someone whose death wouldn't matter. So if you wish to kill me, go ahead. That way, you won't have to be afraid anymore. If I still displease you, just end it. Though I'd appreciate it if you made it quick. Now then, Master, pardon my intrusion." In a sudden motion, Bora lunged forward, grabbing the sheet trapped under him and yanking it hard. The once arrogant man found himself sprawled on the floor, stunned. What are you doing?" "Changing the sheets, Master." With that, Bora stepped toward him and began unbuttoning his shirt. "Don't touch me," Vincent shouted, trying to crawl back. But she pulled him right back. "What's wrong? Is this body of yours something sacred?" He couldn't see her, but he could feel her breath. Vincent tried to push her away, but after days without eating, he had no strength left. And just like that, she stripped the shirt from his body. The little maid smiled faintly. She'd finally made a bit of progress. But when she saw the man's body, she froze. His fingernails were dug deep into his own skin, gripping himself tightly. He was painfully thin. His tall frame had hidden it beneath the clothes, but now every bone was visible, and his body was covered in scars. Bora had once wondered why the master's room was filled with fragile ornaments. Wouldn't it be easier to remove them? The head maid had gone silent for a moment before answering, "Leave them be." If everything got smashed, she would simply replace them. Because when there was nothing left to break, he turned that violence inward. Bora gently pulled his hands away and touched his gaunt face. She whispered to him softly until his breathing began to calm. Then she placed the clean clothes in front of him, letting him dress himself. While he did, she quickly changed the sheets. The moment she finished, Vincent dove right back into bed. That was fast. Wait, she muttered. His trousers and clean underwear were still on the floor. Bora glanced toward him, half exasperated. Master, don't tell me you didn't change your underwear? His reply was cold and sharp. Get out. Bora opened her mouth to remind him about the underwear. But Vincent suddenly flung the sheets aside and aimed a pistol straight at her. Say one more word, he growled, and you'll die here. From that day on, whenever Vincent sensed even the slightest threat, his first reaction was always to draw his gun. He couldn't see, so he often waved it around blindly. But sometimes the barrel was aimed directly at her head, and they would stand frozen like that for minutes. Every night, Vincent sat hunched at the edge of his bed, clicking the hammer of the pistol again and again. He hadn't always been like this. Even after losing his sight, he once managed to live somewhat normally. Until a series of incidents changed everything. The first during a village inspection. That day he was attacked. The assassin was just a boy. He plunged a knife straight into Vincent's chest. The child was caught, but killed himself before saying a word. The second attack happened in the mansion's courtyard. When the servants rushed over after hearing a scream, they found Vincent trembling beside the body of a man impaled through the chest with an iron rod. The third took place at the dining table. The fourth in the mansion's corridor. One attempt after another, each closer, each bloodier, until Vincent finally broke. Even his childhood home was no longer safe. The fear that someone wanted him dead haunted Vincent with every breath he took. If anyone discovered his blindness, he'd lose his position as head of the Belunita family. In the end, he lost more than sight. His heart too was swallowed by darkness. Bora was woken once again by the sound of his voice. Only a thin wall separated her room from his. Every night she could hear the painful groans from the other side. That man was fighting a war with death itself. But no matter how terrifying the night, the sun always rose again. She got herself ready and went to care for her master. Every 10 days the butler came to report on family business. Bora stood outside quietly watching them. The man who seemed so broken and afraid, now looked completely different. Calm. Composed. Radiating authority, the kind only true nobles possessed. Her gaze trembled. The butler noticed her and looked her way, with eyes as cold as if he were staring at a corpse. That look reminded Bora of the rumors whispered throughout the estate, and of the warnings her master had once given her. She straightened her posture that if she didn't want to die, she had to perform perfectly. For her, the gun wasn't the scariest thing in this mansion. The real terror was reality itself. Bora yanked at her master's sheets again. As expected, Vincent drew his gun instantly. Let go. But this time she didn't flinch. Then shoot. If I keep letting you waste away like this, we'll both die sooner or later. Rather than rotting slowly, I'd rather die by your hand. Come on, pull the trigger. Vincent froze. Are you insane? Not shooting. Then I'll keep working. She ripped the sheets away in one clean motion. Losing his sense of control, Vincent raised the gun once more. But the little maid didn't care. She pulled again, and sent him tumbling flat onto the floor. Dinner's ready, she said simply. Vincent sat up, furious. You dare act this way? Do you want to die? Bora shrugged. You can't even see me, think you can hit me? Shooting is one of my specialties, he growled. Bora scooped up a spoonful of rice porridge and gasped in mock awe. Wow, really? Here, master, let me feed you. Vincent actually laughed in disbelief. Then he kicked the tray across the floor. Bora watched the dish spin away. Her mind flashed back to the days she'd been beaten half to death, begging for a single spoon of rice soup. Even knowing his past, Bora refused to pity this man. He was the master of this vast mansion. A man blessed with everything. How could she ever pity someone like that? No, only shameless audacity could deal with a man like him. You must be terrified of me, huh? Too scared to even drink a spoon of soup. What are you doing? He demanded. Vincent could hear the maid pacing near his bed. His voice trembled into a shout. What are you doing? Bora didn't answer. In the next instant she shoved him back onto the bed, climbing over him, holding him down with surprising strength. His mind went blank as she pried his jaw open. Her fingers forced their way between his lips. For a second he truly thought she meant to kill him. But before he could bite down, something warm slid into his mouth. The furious man froze. What is this? Before he could think, another spoon entered his mouth. Her calm voice echoed close to his ear. You should cherish your food, master. Vincent finally snapped, reaching out, his hand brushing her face as he shoved her away. But Bora grabbed his hair, forcing him back down. Didn't they teach you manners when you were a child? She said, feeding him spoon after spoon. At last, Vincent exploded, pushing Bora off the bed with all his strength. The soup dripped down Vincent's lips and throat as he coughed violently, shouting, "Damn it! You nearly choked me. You're fired right now." Bora didn't even flinch. I was only feeding my master. Do you even realize what you're doing? You're begging for death. Her eyes darkened. Did anyone see it? No, there's only you and me here. She brushed the dust off her skirt and whispered, so who would ever know what I've done? Vincent's hands fumbled around the bed. Looking for your gun, master? Think that'll save you? But tell me, does it even have bullets? In his panic, the gun slipped from his hand and hit the floor with a sharp clang. The sound stripped him of all sense of control. Bora smiled and stepped back. I hope our next meal is just as pleasant. Next time. Vincent roared. You're fired. Do you hear me? Fired. She shrugged. Suit yourself, but I've heard an unpleasant rumor about you, master. They say it's nearly impossible to find anyone willing to serve you. Don't worry though, until you do I'll be here. And if you never find another, well, I'll stay with you forever. She picked up the fallen pistol, placed it back in his hand, the muzzle pressed to her chest. Please take care of me from now on, master. Vincent froze completely. Bora, on the other hand, felt a rush of wild exhilaration. She had finally won this round. In the days that followed, the two waged an intense battle of wills. Back and forth, neither giving an inch. Vincent still overturned everything within reach, refusing any help. Beyond dressing and feeding him, Bora even tried to drag him to take a bath. Vincent fought like a furious cat, thrashing and snarling. She ended up with a bloody nose from one of his wild swings. But soon Bora received good news. The head maid told her, as long as you don't harm the master's body, you may serve him however you wish. That meant she had passed the test, she'd survived another day. Bora took a deep breath, steeling herself. Holding a pillow like a weapon, she stormed into the room to challenge her master. Don't think you can beat me that easily. You will take a bath today. The room was unusually quiet. Nothing came flying at her. Bora peeked her head in cautiously. Her master lay on the bed, trembling uncontrollably. She rushed to his side. His face twisted in agony, gasping like a fish stranded on shore. Right, the device. Bora fumbled through her pocket. It was the breathing aid the doctor had taught her to use in emergencies like this. Master, breathe slowly. It's all right. I'm here, she whispered. Vincent took the mouthpiece, following the rhythm of her calm voice. After what felt like forever, his breathing finally steadied again. Bora kept gently patting his back, whispering, It's all right, you're safe now. Vincent had thought he'd die by this girl's hands. Yet time and again she was the one who saved him. After days of their constant clashes, something inside him began to stir again. Life. He no longer felt dead inside, but the shame of being seen so weak made him turn away. Get out. Bora didn't move. You should eat, master. The man childishly wrapped himself in the blanket again. What are you doing? You'll suffocate like that, Bora sighed. I haven't even brought the food yet. Come on, relax. She muttered as she worked. The doctor said you have to eat on time and move around if you want to stay healthy. When he still didn't respond, she sighed. Fine, I'll start cleaning then. The soft, steady rhythm of sweeping filled the room. Vincent peeked his head out, slowly lying back down, oddly at ease. For the first time he felt a flicker of curiosity toward this relentless little maid. Why did you come here? He asked suddenly. Bora froze. It was the first time her master had ever spoken to her by choice. She was so stunned she couldn't even answer right away. His tone turned harsh. I asked you, why did you come here? To make money, of course. Bora replied without hesitation. Oh? Then if I pay you, will you leave? Ah, switching from threats to bribes now, she teased. Even if you fire me, they'll just send another maid. And I'll drive them away too. Then they'll probably send more, right? So you're saying you're not leaving? That's right. Where did you live before this? In Felton. That's a long way from here. Not really, just one mountain between us. But the best part, Bora said with a small smile, was the journey itself. It felt magical. She had never left her village before. To her, the outside world was something out of a fairy tale, vast, bright, and unreal. Vincent sneered. What nonsense. This isn't a place for daydreams. I know, Bora replied softly. Reality isn't a fairy tale, that's why I only allowed myself a short dream. He chuckled dryly. People like you are usually called delusional. Must you always be so cruel with your words? For me, just reading a fairy tale feels like dreaming already. When I was little, I worked at a bookstore for a short while. The owner let me read a few books when no customers were around. There was one line I never forgot. God created you, your very existence is a blessing. So, love without restraint. Because everything you experience will become the path you walk. Vincent let out a faint scoff. The Sorrow of Love, right? You've read it too. That's a book even children have heard of, he said dryly. Not much of a taste, I see. It was a tragedy. Bora knew the ending was sad, yet she didn't hate it. At the end, the heroine walked along the endless shore and murmured, "Ah, it's finally over." Although she abandoned everything, even her lover, she didn't die. She simply freed herself from all the pain, and chose to leave alone. Enough about me, Master. Do you have a favorite book? I don't read that kind of thing. I mean, after you lost your sight. That was when Bora realized, his eyes could no longer see. Then you could hire someone to read for you. Vincent's face twisted in disgust. You want everyone to know I'm blind? He knew she didn't mean it that way. Bora quickly made up her mind she would read to him herself. Of course, he only agreed after she half forced him to. Bora cleared her throat and began to read the first line. Boring. Change it. But I only read one line. And I already hate that line. With a sigh, she pulled out another book. Change it. Third one. Fourth. You've got talent. Managing to find so many boring books. Bora finally snapped. Must you be like this? If it's boring, it's boring. Is honesty a crime now? Then what standard are you even using to say that? Vincent's face turned cold. A mere maid dares to talk back to me? He was actually trying to pull rank on her. Then tell me what kind of books you do like. Books I've already read. I don't read them twice. At least tell me your favorite genre or something you enjoy. None. When the little maid fell silent, he barked again. What are you waiting for? Go get another one. Childish man. Bora cursed inwardly. What a miserable day. It felt like she'd asked for it herself. That night, Laura rubbed her eyes, ready to drift off to sleep. A loud thud jolted her awake. It came from the next room. She rushed over at once. Master, are you all right? That night, he had a long and terrifying dream. Bora watched the trembling man and slowly reached out her hand. It's all right. It was just a dream. Try to sleep again. I don't think I can. Then I'll stay with you, until you calm down. He didn't respond, but his silence meant he wanted her to stay. Bora was startled. I thought he'd tell me to leave. Must have been one hell of a nightmare. So she stayed there, crouched beside his bed, quietly keeping him company. Then the man's hand slipped out from under the blanket. Bora gently placed her own hand over his. My little sister used to have nightmares too, she whispered. She was the second child in our family. Every time she had one, she'd cry and call out, "Sis," until I woke up. Whenever that happened, I'd hold her hand and tell her, dreams are just dreams. You don't have to be afraid. They say what happens in dreams should stay in dreams. Whether it's something that's already happened or something you fear might happen, just treat it as a meaningless dream. And if you can't, then face what's happened and make sure what you fear never comes true. After saying that, Bora thought, will he mock me again for dreaming out loud? Maybe he's right. Maybe I really am daydreaming in this place. After all, even I never found the courage. Not on the day my restless little sister was sold away, nor on the nights she came back to find me. Suddenly, the man muttered, how could anyone possibly do that? Then he grabbed Bora's hand hard. It's all gone. Nothing can be fixed. How do you expect me to overcome that? He sprang to his feet, shouting hysterically, how am I supposed to live in this hell? That's when Bora noticed, his forehead was bleeding. Vincent reached out and seized Bora by the head. Let me go, she cried in panic. But he yanked her closer instead. Look at me, he roared. You see what I've become? How the hell am I supposed to live like this? Do you even know what it feels like? Do you understand what it's like to see nothing but darkness? For a moment Bora was shaken. Yes. This man couldn't see that he couldn't even see her, and realizing that she felt a guilty sense of relief. My life is already over. All I see is darkness, no light, no future. Bora whispered, even so, you still have to live. You have to try. Vincent gave a bitter laugh. Try harder. You can do it. Just keep pushing. Spare me that crap. Those are just empty words. You people, none of you know what it's like to lose your sight. Don't make me laugh. My eyes will never see again. So tell me, how the hell am I supposed to try? I'm blind. What else can I even do? Bora lowered her head and whispered, then you plan to just wither away alone, until you die? Can't I? Between life and death. Choosing death should be an option too, right? Well, that's true. You can choose to die. They say God never gives us more than we can bear, but I don't believe that. Pain like this. Who could endure it? Whether you keep enduring or not, it's your choice. If you decide to end it, I won't stop you. Just, please tell me beforehand that I don't want to be the one who finds your corpse by surprise. But until that day comes, I'll stay by your side. You're not afraid of me anyway. You could get rid of me anytime you wanted. I told you before. Even if I die, no one would come for revenge, so you don't have to worry. But you're different from me, that I've got no one who'd avenge me. While you have so many people who cared, so before you die, why not make use of what you still have? Vincent replied blankly. It's all meaningless. Bora pressed on, even small things count. You could taste the chef's finest dishes, take a warm bath. Maybe torment your personal maid a little like you did today. Or step outside on a sunny day, breathe some fresh air. And if it scares you, you can always come running back. After all, you do have a place to hide. You hold wealth and power. You have servants who worry for you. And this huge mansion, what is there left for you to fear? But to Vincent, everything felt terrifying. Wealth, power, care, even this mansion itself. Bora gave a small smile. Still better than having nothing, don't you think? You've got it backwards. Living without those things is what's truly scary. Everyone lives in their own kind of hell. Some because they're poor. Some because they had no good parents. And some because of accidents they never saw coming. So having a place to hide is already a blessing. For you, that place is this room. And for me, it's this mansion. Bora reached out and gently lifted Vincent's chin. Her heart was racing. Had she ever faced anyone this closely before? She'd always feared the way people looked at her, with disgust or fear. But now, don't lower your head, she whispered. This is the real world. Please have a little courage. Because when you do, I'll also give my all in this place that freed me from my own hell. Whether I live or die, I'll stay here, with my blind master, quietly. After tending to the wound on his forehead, Bora turned to leave. But the blind man suddenly grabbed her hand. Where are you going? Back to my room. Why? Didn't you say you'd stay until I calmed down? You seem calm enough now, she replied, but the man murmured, it'd be nice if someone stayed with me all the time that I feel uneasy, scared. He's doing this on purpose, Bora thought. A moment later his tone softened. Stay here, until I fall asleep. Bora wasn't good at refusing a plea, so she sat down with a sigh. Vincent lowered his gaze. With their hands clasped, sleep finally crept over him. The next morning Bora yawned. What a brutal night. Still, she had to pull herself together. She needed to keep reading to her master today. She carried in even more books than yesterday. The rustle of pages woke Vincent. Persistent, aren't you? Of course, that's why I serve you. This time, please listen carefully. She began reading a children's fairy tale, loudly. Vincent bristled. What are you doing? Reading problem? That's a fairy tale. Yes, I think it suits you right now. For a sensitive, sharp-tongued master like you, a calming fairy tale is perfect. She braced herself, expecting him to throw something. Instead, he only sighed. Fine. Keep going. Bora froze. Huh. Are you deaf? I said keep reading. She read one line, then he cut in. Stop. Too fast that I can't follow. Again he stopped her. Your enunciation is off. Start over. Read it word by word. Let the listener build pictures and understand that really the best you can do? Bora sighed. Who knew reading aloud could be this hard? The sharp-tongued man kept giving orders. Again. Start from the previous chapter. Bora straightened her back. Like hell, I'm giving up. Days passed and the number of books she read for him kept growing. Vincent hadn't lost his temper again. Each day, aside from reading, she wondered what new book she could bring him next. One afternoon, Bora looked up and caught sight of herself in the mirror. There had once been bruises on her face, marks that never seemed to fade. Now, lifting her bangs, she saw a clean, unscarred forehead. Even her footsteps sounded lighter as she walked away. Bora, the head maid called out. He handed her a new task. Sort through the master's letters, mostly greetings and invitations. Verit, Bora read aloud from an envelope with no family name. The head maid immediately took it back. This one is to be kept separately. Do not deliver it to the master. As Bora went through the rest, she found a letter written in shimmering gold ink. The head maid clearly recognized the handwriting. One more thing, reply to this letter. Keep it short. Anything will do. Bora was stunned. Noble correspondence. Is that casual? Still, she carefully carried the letter to the desk. It would be the first letter she ever wrote in her life. Little did Bora know, the sender of that letter would soon appear before her. The gears of Vincent's life began to turn again because of her. And those same gears would change hers as well. A brown-haired man quietly murmured Vincent's name. I should pay my dear friend a visit. After finally handling her difficult master, Bora found herself targeted by another, his new guest. Ethan Christopher, charming, witty, polite, and annoyingly persistent. Bora bit into a boiled potato thinking, great, if he sees me like this I'll die of embarrassment. How's Vincent? He looked pretty upset. Not that much. Didn't he throw something again? He always does that. Isn't that dangerous? Every answer felt like a death trap, so Bora decided to just keep eating her potato. Miss Maid, he asked again, you know about Vincent's current condition, don't you? Bora nearly choked. Why me? She screamed inside. I'm just a maid. Why do they keep asking me these things? Lately, rumors had been spreading outside the Count's estate. People said the master's bad temper drove all his servants away. Bora had heard those whispers too. Seeing her nod, Ethan chuckled. So Vincent's been giving you a hard time, huh? No, the master's kind to me. Didn't you just say he throws things around? Once again, the little maid experienced Ethan's sly teasing firsthand. Vincent's stubborn, isn't he? Once he decides something, no one can talk him out of it. And if you go against his will, he shows it right away, frowning, scowling, that cold look of his. Don't answer him, Bora told herself. It's a trap, a total trap. What do commoners call someone like that? Stiff head? Mule? No, what was it? Unable to hold back, she replied, bull-headed. Ah, that's it, fits him perfectly, doesn't it? But he was fine not long ago. A few months back he suddenly stopped replying to letters. Wouldn't see anyone either. I got worried, so I came myself. Tell me, will he ever get better? You don't have to worry too much, Bora said softly. Master's trying in his own way. Imagine the whole world going dark all of a sudden. How terrifying that must be. But without living through it, you can't understand that pain. So please, just wait a little longer. Sometimes silence helps more than any words, especially when he needs to face it alone. Ethan smiled faintly. You really are something, calm, brave, and gentler than I expected. But we can't just wait forever. I have something important to tell him. Can't I count on you, Miss Maid? No, I'm probably the one person here with the least say in anything. What if I knock 100 times? Think Vincent will open the door? Ethan grinned. Guess I'll try and find out. If the maid were to fall for me, though, things would go a lot smoother. No way. I refuse. Ethan burst out laughing again. The maid Renika was one of the few people Bora saw regularly. She often delivered supplies from the main mansion, and a bit of gossip with them. Did you hear? Young Master Ethan's here. The second son of the Christopher family, handsome, polite, and charming. Everyone adores him. You're so lucky, Bora, that I wish I could talk to him just once. He's staying in the annex. You could go see him anytime. No way, we're not allowed inside the annex. Only servants with special permission can go in. And even they have set times and areas. If you enter without permission, well, say goodbye to your head. Bora froze, shocked. No wonder this place is so empty, she thought. That man must have a very special connection with the master. Ethan was growing impatient. He leaned against Vincent's door, arms crossed. The little maid sighed. You're not seriously planning to stay here all night, are you? Morning already? I thought if I knocked all night he'd get mad enough to open the door. Guess I was wrong. He chuckled. And I said Vincent was stubborn. Look at me. Bora reached into her pocket and pulled out a key. Want me to open it for you? Didn't you say that was off limits yesterday? I only open it to change the bedding. You're the one who barged in last time. You think Vincent will believe that? If he doesn't, he'll just hate me more. Not like he ever liked me anyway. Ethan shook his head. No thanks. I'd feel guilty. I'll try again myself. Suit yourself. I'm going in to change the sheets. Don't you dare come in. Understood, Miss Maid. Bora slid the key into the lock. But the moment she opened the door, something felt wrong. The bed was empty. As she stepped closer, she found Vincent collapsed on the floor, writhing in pain. She never would have guessed he'd simply drunk too much soup and ended up sick. With that tiny appetite of his, even overeating was a challenge. He really was unbelievably fragile. Before leaving, the doctor kept reminding Bora to take extra care of her master. Fortunately, Ethan finally got the chance to see Vincent. His eyes filled with concern. You've gotten so thin. Thinner than the last time I saw you. Please take better care of yourself. Seeing you like this, I can't even face the late count. But unlike Ethan's emotion, Vincent's voice was cold. Go home. Don't be like this. Try to go outside. I'll help you. Help me, how? Whatever it takes. If there's anything I can do, I'll do it. Vincent let out a bitter laugh. Then make me see again. If you can't, then shut up and get out. How long do you plan to live like this? There are already plenty of ugly rumors about you. They say you're not recovering from an injury from the party. They say your body's failing, that you're hiding because something's gone fatally wrong. You can't live like this forever. So what do you want me to do? It's time to come clean. Are you trying to get me killed? If everyone learns Count Belunita has gone blind, the next person who comes won't be an assassin. It'll be the one who blinded me coming back to finish the job. Whoever did this to you already knows your condition, Ethan said firmly. Vincent, if you keep hiding like this, I'll reveal it myself. You've lost your mind, Ethan. Maybe I have, Ethan admitted quietly, but you're my dearest friend. I can't just watch you waste away. And this secret won't stay buried forever. We need to be ready for what's coming. You know it as well as I do. One way or another, I'm dragging you out of here. Don't talk nonsense, Vincent snapped. Ethan's tone turned cold. We'll see who's talking nonsense soon enough. Your choice, Vincent. Do it my way or not at all. Still, despite the tension, he couldn't hide his concern for his friend. Stuck between the two men, Bora grew annoyed. If you're that curious, why don't you go find out yourself? Ethan smiled politely. If the maid would tell me instead, I'd be very grateful. He gave Vincent an ultimatum. 2 days. You step out of that room or I'll make it happen myself. If you're that worried, you shouldn't be threatening him in the first place, Bora said. Does it sound like a threat? Forcing someone to do what they don't want to, that's the definition of a threat. You're right. It is a threat. Bora silently scolded him in her head. What a shameless man. But as if reading her mind, Ethan smiled. I'm not a villain. I just can't stand watching him destroy himself. Even before we became friends, our family's interests tied us together. That's why I'm asking you, Miss Maid, try to talk him out. Get him to come out of that room. I already told you, I don't have that kind of power. Oh, I think you do. You flatter me, sir. After cleaning the room, Bora picked up her bucket and headed out. But Ethan started following her again. Openly this time. What are you doing here? He asked curiously. Picking out books to read to the master. You read to Vincent and he actually listens? He used to refuse, but now he listens quietly. Fairy tales mostly. But this time I want to pick something thicker. Ethan's shoulders began to shake. He was trying hard not to burst out laughing. With his pride. Listening to fairy tales. That's unbelievable. His laughter finally echoed through the entire library. Meanwhile, Vincent, waiting for his maid to return and read, was frowning at the sound, thoroughly annoyed. In the end, Ethan picked out a book for him, an adventure novel. Better than those children's tales. Tears welled up in his eyes from laughing. It's great that someone like you is by Vincent's side. Bora hugged the book, slightly embarrassed, and started toward Vincent's room. But Ethan stopped her. Care to make a bet? A bet. That Vincent will actually leave that room. What do you think? How could I possibly guess what my master's thinking? If you can get him to take just one step outside that door, I'll grant you one wish. What? Mr. Christopher, why do you always say things like that to me? Ethan suddenly pulled Bora close, his tone firm. Because I want you to agree. This is for Vincent's sake. Bora gritted her teeth. Why are you doing this to me? Because you're the easiest one here to deal with. He didn't let go of her hand. Don't turn me down, that I still want to seem like a good man in your eyes. And since it's a bet, there's a chance I'll win. If I do. He lifted Bora's hand and kissed the back of it lightly. Then with a cruel smile he said, You'll have to hand over your head. Making a throat-cutting gesture as he spoke. Bora froze in fear, unable to understand. Why her? She was just a maid serving her master quietly. When she hid her face behind the book for a moment and lowered it again, she saw Vincent had pulled the blanket over his head. Master, please, stay strong, there must be a way. Don't say such naive things. Why naive? If Ethan sees you trying, won't that be enough? How would I even show him? No matter how hard I try, it won't matter if he refuses to see it. It's useless that he's clearly made up his mind to expose me. Hearing that, Bora began to think. What exactly did Ethan mean by trying? She recalled everything he'd said since arriving at the Duke's estate. Finally, she came to a conclusion. What he wanted was simple. Vincent just needed to step outside again like he used to. No help, no excuses, just show that he wasn't afraid anymore. So Bora began urging him, even trying to pull him toward the door. But he protested, I can't. You're asking the impossible. He gave us 2 days, she thought. Then we'll train as hard as we can during that time. On the first day she guided him toward the door, slowly, carefully, like a child taking his first steps. I get it, stop fussing. His trembling hand never let go of hers. The next day Vincent sat slumped against the wall. No, I can't, without you holding me I can't even walk straight. Don't let go of my hand. But Bora gently released it. You'll be fine, that you've been practicing for so long already. She stepped back, keeping a small distance between them. Come on, just walk toward me, that's all you have to do. Vincent took a deep breath and stepped forward, only to twist his ankle. As he was about to fall, Bora rushed forward and caught him in her arms. At that moment, Vincent's hand clutched Bora's tightly. The two of them fell to the floor together. You did great. Vincent's voice trembled. I'm scared. Adventure is always scary, Bora said softly, but if you don't face it with courage, you'll never move forward. Whenever you feel afraid, remember these words. Even in the deepest darkness, there will always be a voice. One only you can hear. It might be a companion, a friend, or family. It can be anyone. You may not see, but you're not alone. Soon, the day of the bet arrived. Bora trimmed Vincent's hair neatly. Vincent ran a hand through the shorter strands. Was that really necessary? This face looks too good cleaned up, Bora thought, but said instead, it looks sharp and tidy, suits you perfectly. Then Vincent asked her to bring his outdoor clothes. The request caught her off guard. But she quickly went to fetch his polished shoes. In no time Vincent was dressed and ready. Bora stepped out of the room and told Ethan, the master is waiting for you inside. Practiced quite a bit, didn't you? Bora shot him a sideways glance, thinking what a pointless question. Ethan suddenly said, the weather's nice, perfect for going out. The trees even have fresh leaves. He walked to the door and took a deep breath. Vincent stood by the window, impeccably dressed. Vincent. Hearing the voice, Vincent lifted his foot, turned, and stepped toward the door. He walked to the doorway and passed Ethan shoulder to shoulder. The scene left Ethan stunned. But the next moment Vincent swung his cane at him. With a dark expression he warned, threaten me again and I'll kill you. But I'm your friend. Then stop threatening me, get out, now. Saying that, Vincent strode back toward his room, found the doorframe by feel and slammed the door shut. Ethan laughed. That's more like him. Bora thought, has he lost his mind? Is he that traumatized from nearly dying? Ethan entered the room and said to the man on the bed, don't make that face, that I've got something for you. He pulled a letter from his pocket. It's from Violet. You still haven't replied to her, have you? I barely stopped her from coming to see you in person. So write her back that if you don't, next time she'll storm in for real. Violet, the one who keeps sending letters. You know her too, Mr. Christopher? While Bora was still thinking, Ethan ordered, Miss Maid, bring me some paper and ink. As she stepped out of the room, she suddenly paused. She'd forgotten something. These are all letters for the master. Sort them by date. Then it hit her, the head maid's assignment. Write the replies. That night, Bora finally finished replying to all of them. Her hand trembled from exhaustion. She'd been so focused on helping the master practice that she completely forgot. Luckily, none of the letters were urgent. She realized that ever since Ethan had been staying here, no more letters with golden handwriting had arrived. Her mind drifted back to what he'd said that morning. The trees have grown new leaves. And she remembered she'd once written the same thing in a letter. The trees here are sprouting fresh leaves. Bora chuckled awkwardly. Oh, come on, that's just a coincidence. No way Mr. Ethan would hide his identity just to send that kind of letter. And I can't exactly picture him crying while writing it either. Just as she muttered, yeah, it couldn't possibly be him. Ethan suddenly appeared, making her heart nearly jump out of her chest. Mr. Christopher? It's so late. What are you doing here? Ethan smiled. Couldn't sleep. Decided to take a walk, and I thought I heard someone talking about me? Bora quickly denied it, but Ethan just smiled. Even if you were bad-mouthing me, I'd understand that I've already admitted I'm the villain here. I'm going out for some air. Here, borrow this. He draped his cloak over her shoulders. You really are a bad man. No, not exactly that you're a bad man, but a kind one. Ethan blinked in surprise, pointing at himself. Me? You act harsh only for the master's sake. That I don't agree with your methods, but I understand. Whatever your true intentions are, I think the master knows them too. I really hope so, Ethan murmured. Do you think Vincent will actually change? He will. You sound confident. Because I am, Bora said with a smile. Yet deep down she knew, once Vincent took that step forward, she'd be left behind. After all, she was hired to serve the man who refused to move. The moment he walked out to face the world again, she'd have no purpose left. And you're fine with that? Ethan asked quietly. Have you thought about your wish? Wish. Didn't I say, if you can make Vincent take one step outside that room, I'll grant you one wish. You forgot? Anything you ask. Don't let my looks fool you. I'm quite capable, you know. After thinking for a while, Bora finally said, my wish is for us to form a partnership. Seeing Ethan's puzzled look, she added, I mean, we help each other. That's it. You could have asked for something far better. But Bora shook her head. No, this is enough. I just want to stay here a little longer. So please, help me. Because deep down she knew she had nowhere else to go. Ethan fell silent, then gently took her hand. All right. A relationship built on mutual help. I can agree to that. The next morning, Ethan was preparing to leave the Duke's estate. Bora helped carry his luggage, but he suddenly took her hand. Take care of yourself. Sorry for the trouble I've caused. She pulled her hand back with a half smile. Don't say that. It's been an honor to serve you. As Ethan climbed into the carriage, Bora couldn't help but ask, Mr. Christopher, did you used to write letters to the master often? Yes, quite a few for a while, he replied. And, did you write them in gold ink? He just wanted to be sure, just in case. No, I always use black ink. And with that, Ethan Christopher departed. Bora looked up and saw Vincent standing by the window, silently watching the carriage fade into the distance, as if bidding his old friend farewell. Not long after, another letter arrived, written again in golden ink. Inside was a tin of fragrant tea. After informing the head maid, she said, Go ahead and brew it for the master. Vincent took one sip and immediately said, This is red tea from Nobel. Bora's skin prickled. How do you know that? She gasped. I used to love this brand. Who sent it? Someone mailed it. I see. He seemed to be in a rare good mood. Bora decided then, next time he gets angry I'll just serve this tea. She also thought she should write a thank you letter to the sender. But soon more boxes of the same red tea arrived. An entire shipment. Bora grew uneasy that she'd only asked where to buy it because the master liked it. She sent another letter asking how she could repay the kindness. The reply simply said, "The weather's lovely lately. How about a cup of tea in the garden?" Guilt crept into Bora's heart. The sender hadn't mentioned repayment at all, just a gentle invitation. Who is this person? And why do they keep writing? She began to worry. Was it really okay for her, not the master, to be replying? The window Vincent had shattered last time had finally been repaired. As Bora helped him dress, she muttered, "Next time you get mad, just punch the air instead, that you've already broken enough things as it is. Why worry about that? Next time Ethan comes, just turn him away, don't let him in. You can get someone else to handle it." "Why? You still don't want Mr. Christopher to visit?" Vincent turned his head aside. "No, I don't." Bora had thought the two had already made peace. "It's not Ethan I hate, it's his family." When Bora asked why, Vincent pulled the bedsheet over his head. "Nothing special. It's just that the Christopher family is the reason I ended up like this." Ethan didn't know the truth, that he only suspected something and came hoping to ask, but seeing Vincent's condition he never managed to. After saying this, Vincent dismissed her. "Some things are called secrets because they're not meant to be known. Now leave." Bora understood. Her master was warning her not to pry any further. She had to keep silent if she wanted to stay alive. From that day on, Vincent never mentioned that conversation again. Bora still came to wake him every morning. And he still resisted her as uselessly as ever. "You sweated a lot last night. You should take a bath first." Realizing force no longer worked, this cat of a man had learned to politely ask her to go away. After another round of spirited resistance, Vincent lost yet again. He waved a hand weakly. "I'll handle it myself, you can go." "Are you sure, master?" He nodded and began taking off his shirt. Over time Vincent's body had filled out, his wounds nearly gone. Bora felt a quiet sense of pride. Her efforts were finally paying off. But when she didn't leave fast enough, her short-tempered master started shooing her away again. She stepped outside but couldn't stop worrying. Pressing her ear against the door, she heard the sound of running water inside, and finally relaxed. Vincent really had changed, that he was eating properly now. The head chef nearly cried when he saw the empty plates. Even the strict head maid praised her for once. "Well done." Thanks to her master's recovery, Bora's days had grown easier. The weather was beautiful, too beautiful to stay indoors. Remembering the golden-lettered note, she made a new decision. She'd take him out to the garden for tea. "Come on, master, don't make that face. They say fresh air's good for the body. I can't let anyone see me. Don't worry that I picked a spot where no one ever goes." "And how exactly am I supposed to get there?" "Simple," she grinned. "I'll carry you." Minutes later, both of them regretted the plan. Bora trembled, struggling to drag a man a full head taller than her. Vincent began to falter. "Let's just go back." But before he could finish, she dropped him gently into a chair, gasping for breath. "We're here." "Where are we?" "The garden behind the annex." Strangely, there was already a table here, though no one ever comes by. I cleaned it up for today. Vincent fell silent, lost in thought. A faint smile tugged at his lips as he breathed in the scent of grass and rain on the wind. Bora placed a teacup in his hand. It was his favorite flavor. "I'll be reading to you here today." "Let me guess, another boring novel?" he said dryly. "No, it's an adventure story." She almost added recommended by Ethan, but quickly corrected herself. "I just heard you liked that kind of story." Clearing her throat, Bora began to read, her voice carrying a tale of distant lands and daring quests. Vincent hadn't felt this kind of peace in a long time. As he listened, curiosity stirred within him. After a long pause, he asked softly, "What do you look like?" Bora froze. Somehow, even without sight, it felt as if his gaze was fixed on her. In his blind eyes, she could almost see her own reflection. A wave of self-consciousness washed over her. She lowered her head. "Why would you want to know that?" "Because I want to picture what the shameless girl in front of me looks like." I should keep reading," she stammered. But then Vincent suddenly reached out his hand. The moment his fingers brushed her face, Bora jolted upright in shock. Bora herself might not have realized it, but years of violence and abuse from her father had carved a deep, instinctive fear of men into her mind. Panicking, she tried to explain, "I was just startled. You suddenly touched my face." Vincent frowned slightly. "Startled? I only wanted to know what you look like." "Then, why did you touch my face?" "That feeling just now, it's still at my fingertips," he said softly. "I can't see. Touch is the only way I can know. So I'll ask again, what do you look like?" "Just ordinary," she murmured, eyes downcast. "Ordinary. The more you hide, the more curious I get." "I'm short," she admitted. "That much I already knew. What else?" "My hair reaches about my chest." "So it doesn't go past it?" "No, I trimmed it recently." "Is it straight or wavy?" "Feels like both." "It's more on the wavy side," Bora answered. Under her gaze, Vincent slowly reached out again, his fingers brushing her cheek. They traced along the strands near her ear, down to the ends of her hair. A faint smile touched his lips. "I was right, the tips curl a little." "What else?" he murmured. The closeness, the warmth, and that unfairly handsome face made Bora's nerves tighten like strings. It took everything in her not to run. "What exactly are you curious about, Master?" "Everything," Vincent said quietly. "Describe it in detail. Give me the fragments I can piece together." "I'm smaller and thinner than most girls my age," Bora murmured. "My hair's rough and yellowish like dry straw. My skin used to bruise easily. My father hit me a lot. The corners of my eyes split open once. Made me look mean. My nose is tiny, full of freckles. The boys used to call me short and ugly. Unlike me, my younger sister Eliza has always been beautiful. Even I thought so. She's truly stunning. Everyone loved her. Even when she acted awful, they called it charming and talked badly about me instead. Even our father, the devil himself, loved her. But I always knew that beauty had a price. She was like a luxury item waiting to be sold someday. Beautiful Eliza. And the ugly me." When Bora finished speaking, unease tightened in her chest. If he knew what I really looked like, would he hate me too? "Come on," Vincent said softly. "You must be a beauty. I just can't picture it." Of course he couldn't, because she wasn't describing herself but Eliza. "I hear that a lot," Bora lied, forcing a shaky smile. But she pressed a hand to her face, trembling. She didn't want to hurt anymore. "Didn't you just say you looked ordinary?" "That was just being polite." She told herself it was harmless. That if only one person in her life could remember her as beautiful, that was enough. "Then you must be easy to find, right?" "None of what I said was true," she muttered. "You wouldn't find me even if you tried." "Then I'll just tell them to bring me the smallest person here," he teased. Bora froze, then glared up at him in protest. "I'm not that small." "You are." "No, Master, you're just too tall. I'd make a perfect walking cane for you." Flustered, Bora added, "I told you I'm not small." Vincent dropped the childish argument. And then unexpectedly he laughed. A genuine, unguarded laugh. That sound made Bora's chest ache just a little. The wind rustled through the pages of her book. Remembering their silly exchange, she couldn't help but laugh too. "You really are terrible, you know that? If you get cold, tell me," she said softly. "The wind's picking up." "I'm fine," Vincent replied. "This temperature suits me." Setting down his teacup, he said, "I want to walk a bit." Bora blinked, then smiled brightly. "Really? Then let's take a stroll." She cheerfully took his hand, guiding him step by step across the garden path. Every few steps she glanced back to check on him. "If you'd like, we could do this more often." "No need." "Why not?" "If someone sees me, it'll just be trouble. There's no one around right now, and if someone comes, I'll warn you right away." "There shouldn't be anyone," Vincent said after a pause. "This place is rarely visited. When I was young, I used to come here often with Dawn and Violet." Bora stopped walking but didn't turn around. "I've actually been wondering, who is Violet?" she asked softly. Vincent fell silent for a moment. Then he stepped forward, closing the distance between them. Lowering his head slightly, he said in a calm, distant tone, "She's my fiancée."